What if we told you there's a hidden town in Bolivia where the Andes turn tropical, condors glide above dramatic cliffs, and you can hike above the clouds, then sip fresh mountain coffee? Welcome to Samaipata, epic 4x4 adventures, jungle trails, and unforgettable landscapes. We faced muddy roads, steep climbs, blazing sun, and every second was worth it. If you love raw nature and places most travelers miss, explore Samaipata with us. The easiest way to get here from Santa Cruz is by car. There are shared taxis called trufis, micros, basically mini buses, regular scheduled buses, and private taxis that run this route. We originally planned to take a trufi, but our Chiquitania adventure the day before ended very late because of a flat tire, so we missed the shared taxi that leaves at dawn and had to go with a private transfer instead. By Bolivian standards, it was relatively expensive, but paying around 30 euros in total for 2 people was still pretty reasonable for a 3-hour journey. We think it's important to mention that we visited during the middle of the rainy season. Before our trip, we had heard worrying reports about washed-out roads and flooded villages in the area, unfortunately including a few fatalities. But by the time we arrived, we could only see the aftermath of the floods. The road to Samaipata was still partly under repair, but with only minor delays, it was relatively passable, and we made it from Santa Cruz in about 3 hours. The town sits at 1,600 meters and, with a population of around 5,000, is the complete opposite of Santa Cruz's constantly bustling city vibe. During our stay, we loved the almost village-like calm, the fresh air, and the surprisingly international atmosphere. There are tons of opportunities for tourists who want to go hiking or enjoy other outdoor activities. We even booked 2 tours with different agencies. Spoiler, we really enjoyed both of them, so if you're curious, you can find the contact details in the video description. Our accommodation was in the center of town, at Andorinha Hostal, and we absolutely loved it, not just for its calm, charming atmosphere, but also for the warm hospitality and attentiveness of the hosts. Our first guided tour, the day after we arrived, took us to one of the most popular trails in the area, Codo de los Andes. As we mentioned before, it was the rainy season, which made getting to the starting point a bit tricky. Even in the dry season, a 4x4 is necessary due to the condition of the dirt roads. But our experienced driver handled every challenge with ease. Sharp turns, muddy patches, and even streams crossing the road didn't slow him down. In about 45 minutes, we reached the start of the trail, located in the garden of a small hotel complex made up of a few igloo-style bungalows in an amazing spot. From there, our local guide Melanio, who comes from a nearby village, took over and set the pace on the uphill path.
We could do 1,000 videos. They would never show how this place is in real, how beautiful.
Although the hike was quite tiring, the views made it all worth it, and Melanio kept us entertained with tons of useful information about the local nature. He knew every medicinal plant and every edible berry, and it was fascinating to hear him proudly share the land where he grew up. A huge thanks to him for such an amazing day.
Ezt megkóstoltuk. Ez fincsi. Eszek még egyet. Ilyen. Azt mondta a bácsi, megehetem. Finom. Olyan, mint a kiwi.
The terrain kept climbing steadily, but after a certain point, we didn't even notice the tiredness. The stunning scenery completely stole our attention.
Our first trekking trip in Bolivia was at Torre de David, and that place was beautiful. Then we went to Santiago de Chiquitos and visited Mirador de Tabaca, and I got speechless because there was an infinity of forests around us, and we enjoyed a marvelous sunset as well. And now we are at Codo de los Andes, near to Samaipata, and it seems like Bolivia always has got another surprise awaiting for us. I mean, look at this view. This place is unreal. El Rey de los Andes.
When we finally reached the summit, we were lucky enough to be joined by the King of the Andes, a condor. It was an absolutely stunning, unforgettable sight. We started our descent feeling a bit emotional after that. The jeep was already waiting for us where we had started 12 kilometers earlier, and soon we were speeding back to Samaipata. By the way, the tour cost 35 euros per person, and it was absolutely worth it. That day, we returned pleasantly tired, carrying amazing memories with us. Our tasty mid-morning snack was just fuel for the next guided hike, and this one was none other than Nido de Condores. This tour is specifically designed for condor watching, so after yesterday's unexpected encounter, we were super excited to start today's adventure. The tour kicked off with a fairly uncomfortable 2-hour drive, hardly what you'd call easy, on roads in a condition similar to what we'd experienced the day before. The real adventure, however, begins once you step out of the car. The terrain can be tricky in places, rocky, muddy, overgrown, and steep. But the goal, the majestic sight of the world's largest flying bird, is what drives you upward. During the tour, we visit 3 lookout points, each a few kilometers apart, from where we hopefully get a relatively close view of condors gliding almost motionless in the air.
That was a tough day, a tough hike. Unfortunately, no condors, only from distance. But it's still beautiful. Finally, we got home from today's hike. Unfortunately, didn't have good luck with the condors. We just saw a few of them from a large distance, but that's okay for us. We all know that wild animals don't have a schedule. Still had a wonderful day with a lot of sun. I got a little burned as well, but it's not so bad. The hike was like in total 15 kilometers long with an elevation of 600-700 meters. The path was rocky and muddy, so if you do this hike, you're gonna need good hiking boots, no running shoes, no jogging shoes, long trousers, long-armed shirts, and a hat as well because of the sun, and sun cream. And before booking it in Samaipata at any agency, just be sure you are in a good physical condition because it's not for beginners. It's a really difficult hike. Right now we're gonna need a shower because I smell like a whole changing room. Then we get some dinner and go to bed early because tomorrow we got some other plans, some new plans you're gonna see. And for now, thanks for watching us, and keep watching us, please. And see you tomorrow. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So Today is going to be a busy day. First we are going to Cuevas Coffee, coffee plantation, where we can learn about the production of coffee and do a coffee tasting as well. After that we are visiting the ruins of Fuerte, which is an ancient Inca city. And to finish the day nicely, we are visiting the Refugio de Colibries, which is a nice subtropical garden with a lot of hummingbirds to observe. So it sounds very exciting. We can't wait to arrive, but until then we just enjoy this beautiful taxi ride.
The Cuevas Coffee plantation sits at about 1,700 meters, just a little above Samaipata, right in the middle of the forest. Honestly, we can't imagine a more beautiful workplace for ourselves. The plantation offers a guided tour of roughly 3/4 of an hour, which costs €3 per person. During the tour, you get an insight into the basics of coffee growing, learn about the different work processes and tools, and finish off with a delicious tasting.
So, the presentation at Cuevas Coffee was really interesting. We got a whole bunch of new information about coffee production, but I won't spoil it. Come and do the activity. It's important to understand Spanish a little bit, but it's essential in Bolivia anyway. At the end we got the taste of the final product as well. It's a really nice coffee. It's a little different than in Europe what we got, and unfortunately we can't buy it in Europe as well because they don't export it, only in the United States. So now we finished this cup of coffee and heading towards to our next activity of today. Cheers.
Let's go.
From the coffee plantation, we continued our journey by taxi toward El Fuerte. This former Inca trade center, later turned Spanish fortress, is a must-see for archaeology lovers. Not to mention, it's also a pleasant, easygoing hike. Exactly what we needed after yesterday's tough terrain. For those more interested in Inca culture and archaeology, the ticket purchased at El Fuerte also allows same-day entry to the Archaeological Museum in Samaipata. There, you can learn even more about the Inca Empire, which once played a major role in this region. From El Fuerte, we set off on foot toward today's final attraction, the Refugio de Colibries.
Alright, after about 1 hour of walking, we just arrived to the Refugio de Colibries. We called them earlier today to ask for opening times, and they said they are closed for 2 hours at 12. So if you visit, just be sure to arrive in the morning or later in the afternoon, especially since the birds get more active in those times, and maybe you get a better chance to observe more different species. Well, let's get in and see what happens. Hola.
When you reach the gate, just shout loudly. There's no bell, but they'll let you in soon enough. Stepping into the garden, A tiny paradise unfolds before your eyes, full of plants, butterflies, and if you wait quietly for a moment, the stars of the show will soon take the stage. We love this place for its calm, quiet atmosphere, its closeness to nature, and the riot of colors as flowers and hummingbirds seem to compete for attention.
This is a magical place for those who love nature, and especially birds. It's a paradise for hummingbirds. And the owner of the garden, a nice lady, is gonna guide you a little bit and explain a lot about the birds. If you're in Samaipata, just be sure to visit.
It was a perfect ending to our amazing last day in Samaipata. The next morning, bright and early, we hopped into a trufi and headed back to Santa Cruz airport.
Well, we left Samaipata and its surrounding amazing landscape. We're gonna miss it. It's a pity we could only spend a few days there, but for now, a new destination, a new adventure is waiting for us. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're interested in alternative, sustainable tourism and giving and receiving positive vibes, and you want to be part of something new, visit our website and be among the first to join our community. Now it's check-in time for us. We are flying to Sucre, so it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or feedbacks, please don't hesitate, write a comment. Goodbye and see you next time. Look at this sunset. Isn't it the most beautiful you've ever seen?
800 salteñas por día. Tú llegas
800.
sí, llegas a las 12:10, 12:20 ya no hay.